Today on TGI, we're going to be talking about weight loss, dieting, and shedding Christmas pounds, as well as body image. Plus, what do we mean when we say God's calling? Does God really speak to us?
Hooray!
Hooray! Hiya, and welcome to TGI Mondays. And thanks again for all your questions you've sent in, and thanks for all your interactions, both on TGI Mondays and on TGI Extras as well. We've had some really, really interesting questions. So over to you, Zoe. You're going to talk about today's...
Yeah, all this paraphernalia on the table. We promised last week that we were going to talk about January diets and the post-Christmas obsession with which diet are you going to join. So we bought all of this stuff because actually there's a lot to be said about this. There's so much of our time, our money, our thought process, be you of any faith or none, that you can't escape this stuff. So we thought we'd start by talking about some of it. I mean, have any of you done any dieting lately? Have any of you signed up for a January diet?
I finished mine just before Christmas and I have not got on the scale since.
No.
No, I don't really do diets. I did start going back to the swimming pool last week, however.
Oof, big step.
Yeah.
Me too. What about you, Dan?
So since I was about 35, I realised that 40 was creeping up, and I was very keen that I hit 40 feeling like I was ready to take on the next stage of my life. Right. And so I took what I called the 40th year challenge.
Ooh.
So it meant just really reviewing the food I was taking on, my exercise, where I was emotionally, where I was spiritually, and seeing just my life as holistic. And you know, I've had a lot of successes actually so far in that, but I've not strictly gone down a diet route.
No.
That's my focus is 40.
It's about the holistic stuff.
Yeah.
And actually, look, all of this stuff, it isn't, you know, we don't live in our bodies and our minds and our souls. They're not all separate things, are they? They connect with each other. So how we feel about ourselves affects how we look after ourselves.
Yeah.
And it also is a huge part of how we think God might feel about us.
And I think it's really sad because so much of what the world is telling us is just a lie. It's telling us that we constantly need... to look better, to be fitter, to be thinner, to, upgrade our bodies in the way that we upgrade our phones. And it's telling us that actually we don't get to be content with who we are.
It's always not now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always, there's something more, however thin you are, you should be thinner.
Can't be too rich or too thin.
And it's telling us that actually, I think it is teaching us to hate our bodies the way that we are. And actually, our bodies are, something incredible, aren't they? All our bodies do amazing things all the time. And, yes, we should take care of them as part of God's creation. But actually, that's not the most important thing, is how they look.
But it's more than just hating our bodies, it's actually about hating ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. And I think it's incredibly evil.
Yeah.
Because what it says is that everybody has to look like a very tiny proportion of the population, and it's impossible for the vast majority of us to ever look like how we're told we have to look like.
Yeah.
And I find that incredibly oppressive.
Yeah.
It is. It's the thing that makes me most believe that evil is so real, because whatever it is that you're thinking, if only I was, fill in richer, thinner, more dark-skinned, more light-skinned, younger. I mean, it's like trying to... Well, the ultimate one is about aging, isn't it? I mean, we're always... Somehow, we've got to look younger. And yet, utterly unachievable. That really is trying to push water uphill. It's never now.
Exactly. And actually, it is never that we're going to get there, because even in eternity, the truth is we're going to have our bodies. We're not all suddenly going to turn into... I don't know, Barbie or, whoever the kind of...
I always hoped I wasn't going to turn into Barbie.
Whatever we think the kind of ideal of beauty is, we're not going to have that. We're still going to be able to look at each other and recognise it, and you'll be Zoe and you'll be Dan. But, you'll be perfect. You won't have diseases.
Are you saying I won't get a six-pack even in heaven?
Well, I don't know.
The thing is with it, though,
I
what I have
wheelchair.
noticed, though, is that I am somebody who is utterly disinterested in appearance.
Yeah.
That's something... Well, thanks for that. No, I am naturally scruffy, right? Yeah, I have no interest whatsoever in it, right? But after watching a few series of True Blood, where every bloke on it has a ripped six-pack.
Yeah.
Even I started looking down going, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
So if it affects me like that, and the thing is with it as well, is that I find it horrific because I don't even fancy those women.
Yeah.
And
And I think that's the thing, is that we're told, you have to fancy this person.
Yeah.
And you're going, why?
Which is one of the
Why
things,
do I have to
actually,
fancy it?
this is not really a promo, but I do love Gok Wan because he basically says to women who look all kinds of different shapes and sizes and says, you are beautiful, you know, the way that you are. He never says you should be thinner or fatter or taller or whatever. He just says, you're beautiful. And, you know, that is what's true about our bodies, whatever they are like.
Yeah, but I mean, different churches have different approaches to this stuff. I mean, 5 minutes Googling diets, and there's the what would Jesus eat diet, and that's not even funny. That's sort of going back to the raw
It's
food.
terrifying, isn't
There's
it?
the weigh and pray groups.
Yeah.
There are so many different ways of doing this, and actually, so many of them seem about making ourselves the idol.
There was in America, there was a Christian weight loss priestess who said that women don't want to learn about the Trinity, they just want to lose weight.
Oh, don't get me started.
There's so many of those,
Brilliant.
actually.
My blood could really start to boil about some of this. So I think it would be good if we moved on to
I'm going to
our next
Before it
question.
kicks off.
So we've had a question sent in. This is from Andrew, who's 11. Andrew, thanks for watching and for getting in touch with us via TGI Monday Show at gmail.com. He says, how did you know God called you to be a priest? For those of you who are priests, did you feel it, hear him, or see him? Howard, why don't you tell us, how did you know that God wanted you to be a priest?
Well, I think it's two things. You feel it within yourself, and also as well, the way the world looks almost changes, and there's little cues in the world that compel you towards being a priest. And how that works is, I looked at it from a science point of view, in some ways, is that I had this feeling, and I wanted to test the feeling and what I was seeing, and the way to do that was to go to the church. And my idea was to be as honest as possible in the interviews, so that way they would say no, and I could go back and have my career and my life and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So they asked me to bring in an icon of our vocation. So I brought in this, the Prodigy's Music for a Jilted Generation. Lots of other people brought in like
album.
crosses and things. And it's brilliant.
It is.
I listened to that with the kids on the way to school today, and they said it was rubbish. Because
What
it
are
used to
they?
be radical, and now you're just an old dad.
That's true.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And in the
music.
inlay card is this wonderful picture, right, of a guy being quite sort of expressive there.
Yes.
And I think for me, that's what it was all about. I said to the person, I said, I'm giving the world the finger. And she went, what? I said, yeah. I said, because I'm saying to the world, I don't want all what you've given me. I'm going to have it
Won't
that way.
do.
And I'm going to live on the nice part with all the wonder and all the joy, and you can just do
Wow.
one.
Do one.
Wow, and they let you in?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I
my
was
plan.
going to say, so how did that work out for you?
Yeah,
he's
I
here.
started
He's
to
here.
move,
Brilliant.
and I thought, yes, you'll never let me in
Brilliant.
now.
Go on, Dan. Just quickly, what was your...
I never wanted to go into ministry. I had little signs along the way for years and years and years. But I'm absolutely incredibly passionate about the church. And the only way that really makes sense was being ordained. But I didn't know that for the longest time. I'd finished my MBA. It was just coming to the end of the crisis in the economy, and I was struggling to find work, and that kind of forced me to really think outside the box, and it made me start to think about, well, maybe ministry is an option. And I went from closed doors everywhere in my life to just these doors flying open. And so I thought, well, at least I need to kind of see this through. And I did see it through, and here I am. And I've got to say that I am more fulfilled and happier than I ever have been in my life doing what I'm doing. So, and I'm able to bring those passions to bear.
We're running out of time, so I know you've done a little video about this already for
my
the
whole
diocese.
stories,
So
on a link.
I'm not going to ask you about it now.
No,
I
no,
think
don't.
I'm going to do a TGI Extra about this at some point, and I know you want to do a TGI Extra.
Yeah, I thought talk about Jesus and food, and faith and food.
Great,
I'll
so
be
do
doing
look
a
out for
TGI Extra this
those.
week.
We will post the links to those on Twitter, and we'll post them on Facebook. Please do get in touch with us with any more questions you've got, following up any of the things we've talked about, or just things that you're interested in knowing more about. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
talking about the deep subject of forgiveness.
Vicars can't do things in 7 words when 28 will do, can
Right.
they?
Next week, we're going to be talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness.
Next
I did it in one word.
Next
Did you
week.
like that?